What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we started tearing down and inspecting my 2003 Subaru WRX that I got for super cheap on Facebook Marketplace, and work is continuing. We are still diving into it and giving it a full mechanical inspection. I've already looked over all the entire car, and it's pretty grim. I even did a compression test. We've gotten power to the car. The electrical and everything works. It's got a working fuel pump. Everything that the car should need to run works except for a good engine, possibly a bad transmission, and the suspension, it's pretty bad. Pretty much what this thing needs is a complete restoration. I'm going to start with the engine. So I think the first order of business is we need to yank the engine out, tear it down. I need to start making an ordering list for parts because this is going to be a pretty long list. Also, one last thing I wanted to talk about. I know I did say in the last video that we were going to do a junkyard rebuild, and we're going to try and get salvage parts for this thing from the junkyard. It's just not realistic with a car like this. They don't really hit the junkyards very much. I was able to find one, and within 2 days it was completely stripped, absolutely clean. There was nothing left. I got the clutch slave cylinder, got a few interior pieces. I was able to get the rear wing for the hatch, and not to just to mention that the junkyard prices these days are just ridiculous. I'd rather just buy new stuff because they just want too much for used beat up parts. You know, I figured they'd be charging 10-15 bucks. We're talking about hundreds of dollars. So I had a little cart full of stuff and they wanted almost $400 for it. So not going to happen with the junkyard. It's okay though. We're going to just order as much OEM stuff as we can. And for the other stuff, we'll just get high quality aftermarket parts. All right, guys, enough yapping. Let's jump into working on this car. All right, moment of truth. Let's hook some power up to this thing. And hopefully it doesn't burn down to the ground. Okay. Oh, I hear some noises. Huh. Okay, I heard some sounds. All right. Let's crank this thing and see what happens. The clutch is already all the way down to the ground, so we don't really need to step into the clutch. It's in neutral. Let's see. Oh, I hear dinging. Guys, I hear the fuel pump. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, all right, so we got it to crank. We have electrical power to it. I heard the fuel pump priming. So now let's pull the coils and the plugs and see if we can stick my compression tester down in there. Okay, coil number 1 is out. It looks fine. I already found a problem with the coils. Look at the wiring on that. Oh Lord, that is not good. This one's not as, oh, it's cracking as well. Yep. Well, I don't know, man. I don't really know about this harness, honestly. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm thinking we might have to either replace the harness or rebuild the whole thing. And this is a problem with cars like these that are this old, have this many miles, and have been abused. They are gonna have tons of little problems like that that are gonna nickel and dime you to bankruptcy. Okay. right, first plug coming out. Wow. These are brand new spark plugs. And they don't look like they've fired not even one time. These are actually really good spark plugs. But they don't even look like they've fired once. All right, spark plug number 2. And the same thing. A brand new spark plug. Wow. All right, guys, compression tester is in. I'm going to go crank it. And you guys tell me what the diagnosis is. I'll leave you right here so you can see it. Cylinder number 1. See what you got. Well, after those disappointing results, 95 psi on cylinder 1. Let's see what cylinder 3 gives us. Hope it's at least consistent. I actually committed a no-no, and I forgot to disable the fuel pump. So hopefully we didn't wash the cylinders down with fuel too bad. But it's disconnected now. So we got the 2 readings on cylinders 1 and 3 at 95 psi. We will come back again after we do 2 and 4, and we will spray some fogging oil down in the cylinder and see if that will bring our compression up. We will jump into the Subaru Bible here in a little bit, and we'll check and see what those readings mean. Gotta get this big ass battery out of the way first. All right. In order to access the driver's side cylinders, I decided to move the oil fill tube and the bracket holding the wire harness in place. All right. Let's get this harness out of the way a little bit. Just give us a little bit more room. Oh yeah, there we go. Oops. Okay. All right. All right, got it loose. Now let's do cylinder 2. Man, those were very, very loose. Not tight at all. All right, spark plug for cylinder 4. Okay, cylinder number 2. Brand new. All right, let's install our lie detector. And we're going to test cylinder number 4 first. Okay. I had to move you guys because I had to put the big battery there. All right. Cylinder number 4, here we go. Should our throttle body plate be open when we're doing a compression test? I don't know. But I guess when we do the wet test with the fogging oil in the cylinders, we'll do it with that flap open. Maybe we'll get to different results. Cylinder number 2. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Well, better than cylinder 4, but not the same as that side of the engine. All right, let's do the wet test and see if that makes a difference. I'm going to spray the cylinders down with some of this stuff. It's just fogging oil, 4 cylinders. I proceeded to do the wet test off camera, and to let you guys know, it didn't work at all. It really didn't make a difference. I opened the throttle body plate as well, and I still got the exact same readings. So I guess what we're gonna have to do is just rebuild the entire engine, which I planned on doing anyways. And I'm talking about splitting the block, pulling the crank out, and doing it all the way top to bottom, and I will show you guys in a video. All right, well, that was pretty disappointing, but what I have here is the Subaru Bible. It is a Haynes repair manual. And if you're going to be doing any work on your car or a car that you plan on keeping for a while, I highly recommend you go and get yourself one of these. My buddy Jeffrey Bezos sent me this, and it was 35 bucks. And if you can't find the Haynes or the Chilton for your car, e-manual online also has electronic manuals. So let's open this thing up and see what it says about our compression readings. Hopefully it says something, but we are definitely going to use this a lot working on this car. And the thing I love about these is they got pictures and literally step-by-step instructions on how to do every single little thing. I looked through this whole thing, and although it does talk about compression tests and how to do them, it did say to block the throttle plate open, which I did off camera, and we got the same readings, as well as with the fogging oil. Nothing really changed. So I need to do some more research. I don't know if the engine will run with that type of compression, but I could be wrong. So once I find out some more information, come back to you. Well, after my research, I confirmed that this engine needs to have about 142 to 175 PSI to be considered a good engine. So I think the piston rings are worn, probably the valves as well. So let's move on to pulling the engine out. We're going to take all of the exhaust pieces off, and then we're going to yank this thing out. Well, it looks like our EGT sensor, which is right here, is holding us up. It's hitting the turbo drain line, I think. That's the oil drain line, this one right here. So I think this is a 2-piece, so it should unbolt from the rest of the manifold somewhere down here in the middle. Let's see. Yep, it's right there. So I need to get those 2 bolts and nuts off. It should separate it. I could pull that top piece up and then the rest of the manifold down out the bottom. Our O2 sensor is in the way. No, I'm gonna end up stripping it. All right, I got this guy here, which is specifically made to take off O2 sensors, and a really long ratchet. All right, I'm on it. Now let's see if I can break it loose. Oh. Nope, just rounded it out. Great. It's got a good bite on it, but it just... Nope. All right, let's figure something else out. Let's try this again. Wow. There's not one bolt this big bad boy here has yet to get off, so let's see how he does now. This is my biggest, strongest impact I have. Yeah, baby. That's what I thought. Nobody says no to Big Bertha. Okay, after that little fiasco, now I can get this thing out of here. And there is our entire exhaust system. And what I mean by entire, that is all that came with the car. Oh, and the cat. The cat was already off. So once we're done with everything, we're going to obviously have to build a full exhaust system, which I guess is okay. But I don't know if I'm going to keep any of this stuff. I might end up just upgrading all of this while it's out. There's no point in putting this ugly rusty stuff back in there. And this EGT sensor here doesn't look that good anymore. It's pretty beat up. Oh, actually, this is a catalytic converter as well. I did not know that. And now with the exhaust out of the way, we can move on to removing all the accessories and the wiring harness on top of the engine as well. I decided to do this because it was just easier to access more threaded holes for me to attach my chain to pull the engine out, and gave me a chance to really look over stuff and get a mental idea of how many parts this engine is really going to need, because a lot of this stuff is really worn out and there's a lot of damaged components. Look at that plug. Destroyed. Guys, take a look at these three connectors here. These are our coolant temp sensor. Oh, there goes part of our oil pressure switch. The crank sensor and the oil pressure switch, and they're all hammered. Look at that. Wow, this is crazy. It just gets worse on this side. I mean, every single connector is broken. Every single one. Well, this one it's missing, so they put that on there. Like, broken. Thankfully, these aren't broken, but the wiring harness itself is trashed. Look at this one. I mean, what is that? I've never, ever seen a wiring harness this bad in my life. I am going to go through and label all of these here in a little bit, just so that we for sure know where everything goes. So just kind of loosely place it where it was. But we got to get this harness out of the way. These ones were the ones on this side. All of our sensors have been disconnected and our harness has been fully labeled. This one is very simple. There's not a lot of sensors actually, but this harness is in such bad condition. It's going to need so many repairs that when it goes back in and lays back down on the engine, I'm worried that some of these plugs won't lay where they're supposed to. Obviously, they only plug into certain things, but there is still a possibility of getting it wrong or just struggling, and I don't want to do that. And also, I need to replace a lot of them, so it's just easier to know which one's which, and that way I can order every single pigtail that I need. But I'm pretty tired. I think we made a lot of progress. Next, I will be removing the power steering pump, the AC compressor, and then the intake manifold, and then we will yank this whole engine out of this car. All right, I'm gonna go home and go to bed. I'll see you guys in the next clip. Well, I got the alternator off and the alternator bracket and the throttle body and a bunch of other stuff, but I wanted to show you guys something really quick. I got the fuel filter off. Well, I did not free up the pressure, and I pulled the feed line, which is this one right here, and it just blew gas everywhere, and it's yellow and disgusting. Look at this. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to drain the tank at some point. I'm gonna go and pop the fuel pump, take you guys with me, and oh man, I'm kind of worried about what we're gonna find in there, but I feel like it's a necessary evil. After I got everything removed off the engine, I went around and looked at everything, and it's all pretty dirty, but there is still a lot of usable parts. I'm just gonna have a lot of time cleaning these parts. And what I like to use is gasoline. I don't really like to use brake cleaner. Gasoline just is cheaper and it cleans up really easily. You just dunk them in a bucket, all this nasty grease comes off. But I am gonna rebuild the power steering pump. And then, I don't know, I kinda wanna paint the intake manifold wrinkle red. Let me know, guys. Here's the harness laid out. It seems pretty simple. The repairs aren't going to be that hard. I will show you guys. And then the fuel system is definitely going to need to be gone through. I need to replace every single one of these little rubber hoses, rebuild the injectors. I do have a set of pink STI injectors that I might use, but I don't know yet. It depends on how these ones work. I do have a testing machine that we were going to hook them up to, see how they spray. We'll clean the injectors, rebuild them, clean all the lines out, and I am going to replace the fuel pressure regulator as well. Engine bay is looking pretty bare now. We got a couple more things to remove, and then we're gonna yank this thing on out of the car. I don't really know what you call these things, intake manifold runner actuators, I guess, but they're pretty freaking dirty and one of the sensors is damaged on them. So I think I'm going to have to rebuild these as well. But I am going to be porting and polishing all of this stuff as well as the cylinder head, and I'm going to show you guys that entire process. Valves. Don't know what that crud is down there. But they look all right, I guess. You can see the valve seats. They look pretty good, actually. Let's see what the other side looks like. That one looks like it. Those look like they're open. Yep. Same over there. Almost looks like there's been water in there. Strange. But I did not know that these engines had a two-piece intake manifold. So one thing I definitely do want to do or look into doing is port and polish the cylinder heads, and definitely these and the upper intake manifold. I think we could gain a lot of free power just by simply doing that. And obviously I will show you guys how to do that. All right, guys, I've taken everything off that I can up top. Some stuff you don't have to remove. It's not necessary to pull the engine out, but for me, I just find it easier because I have more access to bolt holes, so I can connect my chain when I pull the engine out. But look at that. We got a pretty bare engine bay, and we're ready to yank this thing out. I just got to go underneath, loosen up the mounts, and then we'll pull this whole engine out. I'm excited. All right, we got two 15mm nuts holding the mounts. All right, here's one and two. All right, I think this thing is ready to come out. I did notice one thing as well. The transmission was held in by two bolts and the starter. So yeah. Probably helps if you remove the two bolts holding the engine to the transmission. We'll be right back. Also, I think I need to add a jack stand to the rear of the car because it is teetering a little bit and I don't want it to slip off the jacks and fall backwards. All right, engine disconnected, security in the back. The car is super stable. It's out. All right, it's loose. Up we go, baby, up we go. That's really, really strange. All right, let's have a look at this thing. Well, guys, it appears that the last person that worked on this had no idea what the hell they were doing. Look at that. It's like the clutch got stuck and just those 3 points there were hitting something. Okay, these ones are all fine. And I don't know what kind of clutch this is, but it looks super cheap. Probably some Chinese knockoff crap. But my main issue is right here. Let's take a closer look. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. But again, that's just me. I know what's missing. There's supposed to be a bearing in here. And it's gone. So whoever installed this clutch just absolutely buggered all of it. Well, things have absolutely escalated very quickly, and we have the engine pulled out of the WRX, and I can't be more excited to get working on this thing. I have a lot of shopping to do, gotta look up a lot of parts. Uh, you know, it's gonna be a pretty good normal build. I'm not trying to go for big power or anything. I just want this to be as close to an experience of when the car was new as it can be, because when I was a high school kid, I just dreamed of rowing the gears in a hatchback WRX, and I finally have one. So I want it to drive just beautifully, and I think I can get that done. This is my second Subaru engine I would be building on this channel, and man, in the last 2 years I have come very far, and I couldn't have done it without all of you guys that tune in every video, always comment, always like my videos, and you guys are the real reason why I keep doing this, and I'm having a ton of fun. So if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing. It would mean a lot to me, and I would like to have you join us every week and watch me work on cool stuff like this. All right, guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace. Looks like I got a lot of studying to do. Yep. Oh man.